go ahead, Dr. Yamina.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. So we want to explore the concept of tasbeeh. It's a main Quranic concept. Because we don't have much time, we will just look briefly about.
They're not hearing well,
so we'll,
if you could project a little.
We'll look at what the Qur'an teaches us about tasbeeh. Of course, we won't be able to go deep into it, but at least it will be a beginning, inshallah. And what we do in this series as well is how different main concepts of the Qur'an, like we started with reading Bismillah, which was the first revelation, Iqra' bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq, and the concept of ayat, signs, and the concepts of shahada, how do we perform the shahada, and all this, they are connected to each other, and so is the concept of tasbeeh. So in the Qur'an, we are told, فَسَبِّحْ. So sabbih is the imperative, it's a command. We are told to glorify. Just like we are told, perform the salat, the prayer, we are told to glorify God. Here, glorify, I won't use glorify. I will say, perform tasbeeh, make tasbeeh, so that this tasbeeh word will start making more and more sense to us. We'll attach more meaning to it, inshallah. So this is repeated. And why did I choose these two particular ayat at the beginning? It's because when the first one, فَسَبِّحْ بِاسْمِ رَبِّكَ الْعَظِيمِ, was revealed, the Prophet ﷺ, peace and blessings be upon him, said, put it in your ruku', which means in the salat, during the prayer, when we are prostrating, when we are bowing, what do we say? Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. So the answer to sabbih is Subhana. Sabbih, answer Subhana. We'll look at it more. And when the other ayah, the beginning of Surah Al-A'la, Sabbih isma rabbika al-a'la, was revealed, then the Prophet ﷺ said, put it in your sujood. So when we are in prostration, what do we say? Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. So during bowing and during prostration, we are making tasbeeh, or at least we are supposed to. We are saying Subhana to God, and at the beginning of the Salat, we say Subhanallahumma wa bihamdik, wa tabarak ismuk, wa ta'ala jadduk, wa la ilaha ghayruk. So we start with Subhanaka. So we start the prayer, the Salat, with tasbeeh. In between, we are making tasbeeh. And at the end, it is recommended, this is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, to do the tasbihat. We say 33 times, Subhanallah. We start with Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Wallahu Akbar. When you are all traveling, when you enter the car and you are about to drive, the first prayer we make is Subhanalladhi sakhara lana hada. Subhana, we are making tasbeeh to the one who made this subservient to it, gave this to our service. What happens when we are close?
And people can hear better.
Okay. That's it.
Then you can close because your voice is soft. If you come closer,
But what about the people
they
here?
will hear you still because you're on the side.
we don't want to block. Okay. So not only we are asked to make tasbih, we are also asked to make tasbih constantly. So look at these passages from the Qur'an. And remember your sustainer unceasingly. If I'm remembering, what does it imply?
I'm forgetting.
But if I'm forgetting, it means I know something. If I know, I forget. If I know, I remember. So first, we are supposed to know so that we are remembering. Remember your sustainer, your Rabb, unceasingly, and make tasbih by night and by day. It also means constantly. And the next one, it says, so be patient with what they say and make tasbih to your Rabb again with praise before the rising of the sun and its setting, and glorify during the night and at the beginning as well as during the hours of the day, so that you might find contentment. We do all kinds of things to find happiness and contentment, and the recipe is given to us. You want to find contentment? This is what you do. You glorify, be patient. It means perseverance as well as patience. And glorify, make tasbih with praise. And again, glorify him morning and evening. Glorify him at night and at the time when the stars retreat. And the night prostrate to him. And at night, and of the night, it means part of the night, prostrate to God, to him, and glorify him a night long. So this tasbih is something very important. And that's why we are taught to say, Subhanaka adada ma khalaqta. Subhanaka, glory be to you, to the number of what you have created. What does it mean? Infinitely. Because 1 or 2 or 3, 33 is not enough. When we understand what it means, we will understand that it is not enough. To the number of the creation. So now we want to look at what is Subhana. We are asked, Sabbih, make tasbih. We say Subhana. Subhanaka. What does it mean? It's a verb. Sabbih is a verb. So it is an action. When we talked about the Shahada, to perform the Shahada, to practice the Shahada, is not only saying the words. The words have a meaning. It means I'm acting on that meaning. And when I repeat the Shahada, it reminds me of the meaning and therefore what I need to be doing or being. It's an inner and outer action. Who is it who says something and doesn't do it according to the Qur'an or generally? Hypocrites. And in the language of the Qur'an, it is al-munafiqun. If you remember at the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah, which is like the main big surah after the opening, after the Fatiha, at the very beginning, first the muttaqeen, the God conscious, are described. They are described all with actions they do. They pray, they give charity, they do this. And then al-munafiqeen, the hypocrites, are described. It's all yaqulun, they say. So we have to be careful. So now we want to learn how to perform tasbih. So language-wise, in Arabic, it comes from the root sabaha. If you know a little bit of Arabic, you know that it's a root system. And sabbih, sabaha is the first form. Sabbaha is the second form. And it appears in the first form as well in the Qur'an. So we are told it is He, it is God, who created night and day, the sun and the moon, each floating in its orbit. So sabaha, the first form, is floating. And now we are interested in the second form, sabbaha. And it is used in the Qur'an often with this expression we are very accustomed with. It says here, Subhanahu wa ta'ala amma yushrikun. Is it familiar? Subhanallah ta'ala amma yasifun, amma yushrikun. So it means here, Subhanahu, glory be to God, Tasbeeh to God. He is far above anything they make shirk with Him, they associate with Him. So Tasbeeh is primarily a refuting of shirk and therefore an affirming that God is free of any imperfection. No imperfection. So we'll see how is it related to shirk. What does it mean? So here, how is floating related to glorifying? It seems like unrelated. But if you see how it is used, He is above. God is above anything, any shirk they put on Him. Shirk is imagining that other things have power, for instance. What does it mean? If they have power, it means God's power is not absolute, it's not infinite, it means it's limited, it means it's not perfect. So imperfection is given to Him. Shirk and imperfection are related. Anytime we make a claim about the creation, we describe the creation, this has an impact on how we perceive the Creator. This is directly connected. So if I see any perfection belongs to me, belongs to created beings, it means that much perfection does not belong to God. So He's not 100% perfect. So without intending, I am ascribing imperfection to Him. So He is above any shirk, He is above any imperfection. So think of floating is like above the sea of shirk or shirky false claims about Him. So anything floating, and when something is not floating, it sinks. So anything that is from shirk sinks down and brings down He's not the absolutely perfect, powerful. It brings down, sinking, the opposite of floating. So we want to keep everything above shirk, floating above shirk. So this tasbeeh refuting shirk is repeated in the Qur'an a lot, and I love the Qur'an. It's like you are in, a treasure, a cave full of treasures, and you don't know what to take with you. You become greedy. So beautiful. So I took just some to become more familiar with the beauty of the Qur'an and how clear it is if we pay attention. So Subhana appears in the Qur'an 41 times. And see here it says, if there have been in the heavens or on earth any gods except him, any gods besides him, both heavens and earth would be in ruins. God is the Rabb of the throne, is far above from what they attribute. This is فَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ عَمَّا يَصِفُونَ. This is also an expression that is used every Friday. At the end of when you read the Qur'an, and then you say, سبحان رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. So he is above anything that is ascribed to him that is not him. Any false claims about him, he's above that. And it starts with, he is above the people who make shirk, what they claim, he's above that. So you see, it's a refutation of shirk, of ascribing partners with God. And they say the most merciful has taken a son. It says, Subhanahu. He is above taking a son. He doesn't need to take a son. If you think he has a son, it means you didn't understand who God is. And you don't understand who you are in front of him. You don't understand that you are being sustained here and now. Just right here and now. We're all breathing. How are we breathing? When we are in ghafla, in heedlessness, when we don't think, it seems that it's, of course, I am breathing. It seems, right? But the Qur'an says, is it true? Is it true? Is it you who is doing it? Or is it your creator who is doing it? I don't know how I'm breathing. I have no control over my breathing, and therefore I am sure and certain, you don't have to tell me anything. Whatever you claim, I am sure that you don't have any control over your breathing, and so is it for all living beings, because we are all created in a similar fashion. So I have no control. So when I'm saying I am breathing, I mean I, not you. But it doesn't mean that I'm the agent. I'm the recipient of breathing. Life is breathed into me. I see, I don't know how to see. If my eye, my sight is taken away from me, I can bring it back. If my life is taken away from me, I can bring it back. So it's all about pausing, reflecting. That's another topic that's repeated in the Qur'an. Reflect, reflect, reflect. Are you the creators or are we? God says. And then we surrender and submit and go to prostration and say, Subhanaka, Subhanaka, I am not. If I am not, you are the only one. When I am in ghafla, in heedlessness, and I forget, and it feels like I am the one doing everything. I am the one seeing, I'm the one understanding, I'm the one walking, I'm the one cooking. It's all my work, my creation. Without intending, I am saying it's not God. So I'm attributing imperfection to God because I'm stealing the perfection for myself. And the moment I steal it for myself, I will start seeing all of you as the agent and makers and creators of your own lives. And so everything in the world will be, the tree will own its fruits. And so where is God in this perception? Very far away. Very far. He is above this false image. He's everywhere. Everything is from him. And we need to learn and intend to live more consciously, to practice this Quranic way of living. And it is a way of living that brings contentment. Because only this, we are told in the Qur'an, only by remembering God do hearts find joy and contentment and satisfaction. Can you imagine? We think we don't have time to do this because we are very busy with all kinds of things. Why are we busy with all kinds of things? Ultimately, we can say to make the money, but the money is to buy the car, to buy all of them at the end to find that happiness, that peace, that contentment. How about we make more time for this and find the contentment, and then when we go and, for instance, we need rizq, we need to eat and things, that also will become part of our worship, part of our knowing God, part of our offering gratitude and making tasbeeh. I am not the one who is making the money or the food, and just because I gave the money, went to the store and got it, I didn't grow it, the farmer didn't grow it. Throw the seed and waited, everyone waited. So we are grateful for those who worked, but our greatest gratitude and praise is to the maker, the one who is making me while I am cooking and while I am eating. I don't know how to digest my food. I just put it in my mouth and wait, and it is done unto me. Subhanallah. Subhanallah, it's not me. It's not my stomach doesn't know. It could stop any time. If I don't know, how would it know? So you see, all the context is refuting shirk. And yet, in 600, yet they made the jinn partners with God, though He created them. They are also created. Right? They are created. How can they be partners? He doesn't need them. He's creating them. And without any true knowledge, they attribute sons and daughters to Him. Subhanahu. Glory be to Him, but glory be to Him doesn't make sense, doesn't move my heart. I don't know exactly. It's not really Subhanahu. That's why I want to keep the Subhanahu, so we get used to the Quranic word. Subhanahu. He is above any of this nonsense. He is far higher than what they ascribe to Him. وَتَعَالَ عَمَّا يَصِفُونَ. However they are describing Him, He is far above that. In Surah At-Tawbah, they take their rabbis and their monks as Lord, as well as Christ, the Son of Mary. But they were commanded to serve only one God. There is no God except Him. To serve here is to worship. لِيَعْبُدُوا إِلَهًا وَاحِدًا لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُ. He is far, Subhanahu. He is far above whatever the shirk they make with Him, they associate with Him. Subhanahu, La ilaha illahu, Subhanahu, amma yushrikun. So you see, La ilaha illahu is already, the Shahada is related to the Tasbeeh. Why? Because Shahada is, the first part of the Shahada is to refute and negate shirk. No, nothing is doing anything. Only then we can say only God, only the one who is this is God actually. Look at my breathing. I say no one and nothing in my body, and not the air, not the gravity, nothing outside or inside is making me breathe. La ilaha. They are not gods. They cannot give me life. Illallah. Because for me to breathe, the whole universe has to be as it is. So the one who controls my breathing has to control the air, has to control my body, my everything, has to control everything outside and inside of me. So only the one who has control over everything, only the one who has power over all, everything, who knows everything, who has wisdom that encompasses everything, can make me breathe and give me life. And that is God. Now we start knowing who God is. This is something we emphasize all the time. It's not, I am a Muslim, therefore I believe in God, therefore God creates everything. Is this correct? Correct as a word, as words, but as logic, as reasoning. As reasoning, it's not. How did I become Muslim? How do I know God? In the beginning, the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, were they Muslims? And then that's why they believed in the Qur'an and in God? No, they became Muslim because they believed in God, because they learned who God is, and they believed, and they say, yes, whatever the Qur'an is teaching is the truth. Therefore, I surrender and I accept this, and now I know God, therefore I submit and I surrender, I am a Muslim. The other way around. We do it, we don't want to take responsibility, we don't do the work. We are busy with other things. And so the most important things we want to skip. They worship, 10:18, they worship alongside God things that can neither harm nor benefit them. Worship here doesn't mean I put a small statue and then I go and bow to it. Worship means I give it importance. Worship has two meanings. I seek help from it. I see it as something that can benefit me or harm. I don't want harm, I go and ask for help. I want benefit, I go and ask for benefit. It says, what they can neither harm nor benefit. If something we think, we imagine, can benefit us or harm us or prevent us from harm, then we are worshiping that thing without realizing. It means we are not questioning if that thing is itself doing it, or just like my breathing, if I think I'm breathing, the breathing is from me. So the body becomes the source of my life, as if. Or last time we gave the example of the water, and there were hundreds of verses, passages in the Qur'an describing water. Water is lifeless, water is blind, water is unconscious. Yet, imagine where water goes. Just think about it. Where does it go? We drink it. It goes into our bodies. It goes to every cell. All our cells are different, right? Does it ever make a mistake? Isn't that miraculous? It goes to the eye, to the blood, to the brain. It doesn't make any mistake. It goes to every animals, whether birds or snakes or in the forests, the oceans, everywhere. We pour it on in the earth and all kinds of things grow. It is lifeless, but it is used in the process of giving life. Unless we pause and stop and start reflecting as we are taught in the Qur'an, it will feel without realizing that water is indispensable. It's amazing, its benefits are, of course, all the benefits of water. Without water, we will die, harm. So without realizing, we are making water into an idol. But the Qur'an says, pay attention. Can lifeless water make this? And then we realize, no, it is being used. Clearly, it doesn't know everything. It can't know all the creation in the world. Wherever it enters, it works perfectly. It's being used by someone who knows everything, has knowledge, has mercy, has compassion, wants to help. So the water is glorifying, making tasbih. Because by its being lifeless, it's saying, I'm lifeless, I can't give life. Like in Akhirah, we are told in the Qur'an, they will say, no, the idols. We didn't ask you to worship us. You were the one who worshipped us. We were clearly proclaiming that the one who knows and gives life and has power over everything can only be one who knows everything, and that is Allah. So again, in 10:18, Subhanahu wa ta'ala amma yushrikun. He is far above the shirk that people associate with him. And in Yusuf, Surah Yusuf, this is my way based on clear evidence. I and all who follow me call to God, Subhanallah. Glory be to God. I am not of the mushrikeen. So the believer, the conscious believer will say, this is my path. I believe in God with evidence. Everywhere I see the evidence. I learn, this is our first, I learn to read everything in the name of God. I learn to see everything as an ayah. An ayah means a sign. It's indicating something beyond. It is making the maker known. It is acting like a mirror, reflecting the qualities of the maker. But if we don't pay attention, it seems like it is the qualities of the thing itself. If we remain horizontally, but the Qur'an says, think clearly. There is nothing going on horizontally. If you have a phone here, if Jamila dials my phone, it will ring. Is the connection horizontal between our two phones? No. We are both, if we don't pay and we are not connected to the server, we can't call anyone. Right? So it seems like my phone can contact potentially any number in the world as long as I dial it. But only because it is connected to the server. The server is the one who connects everything. So the connection is actually not between the phones. It's not horizontal, it's vertical. That's what ayah is. Everything is connected to everything else, but through vertically, not horizontally. So it says, Subhanallah, وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. I am not of those who commit shirk, those who associate other things with God, those who think other things can also benefit us or protect us from harm. So, if you remember, when we did read Bismillah and everything is an ayah, and we learned how to perform the Shahada, how did we learn how to perform the Shahada actively? By witnessing how all beings are testifying to God's oneness. Everything, the water with its lifelessness is testifying that the one who is using it is the source of life. He is the giver of life. I am witnessing, observing, for instance, that water is not the giver of life. La ilaha illallah. There is nothing worth worshipping except God. There is no giver of life except God. Okay? by doing this, this is now my shahada. Because now I can testify that it is true. I've seen it. How did I see it? Because everything in the universe is making shahada. That's why it is called in the Qur'an, the world is called alam al-shahada, the world of the seen, the world of the shahada. So by witnessing that shahada, I learn how, oh yes, it's true. Now I learn something about the creator, the maker, and now I can testify. Otherwise, it will be just a claim. It's the same here. We are told everything is making tasbeeh. So if I learn how to see and witness their tasbeeh, I will be able to say subhanahu, together with them and through them. So tasbeeh is not only the rosary, but the tasbeeh is, that's why we say, as the Prophet ﷺ taught, بِعَدَدِ مَا خَلَقْ, to the number of what you've created, because it is the creation that I use as a rosary. I see something and I say subhanallah. I see water entering everywhere and acting perfectly, lifeless, blind water, and powerless, and I say subhanallah. Why? Because I'm witnessing the tasbeeh of the water. Water is already making tasbeeh. My witnessing of that tasbeeh is my tasbeeh. Does it make sense? So we see here all that is in the heavens and all that is on earth. Look, it's the emphasis makes tasbeeh to God. And it starts with sabbaha lillahi. In Arabic, actually, it's at the beginning, which is an emphasizing. Next is all that is in the heavens and on earth makes tasbih to God, the sovereign, the holy, the almighty, the all-wise. Now, there is something coming after tasbih, the beautiful names of God. In Ra'd, the thunder makes tasbih to God with praises, and so do the angels in awe of him. If we and when we testify and witness their tasbih, we will also fall in prostration and in awe, because just that water, simple example, water entering every animal, every human, every being, animate and inanimate, and acting perfectly. You can reflect for days. This is a miracle that cannot be fathomed intellectually. Only the heart can feel the awe, the azama, the glory of God, and you can only fall in prostration. And we'll see there is also a connection, a relationship between tasbih and prostration. That's why the Prophet ﷺ says, when you are in prostration, what do we say? Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. And you see the Surah Al-Ra'd, it starts with everything, thunder is making tasbih, ends with, He alone has the power. He alone has the power. That's the result of tasbih. If we make tasbih, we will have no doubt that He alone has the power. He alone has the knowledge. The source of everything is with Him, and everything else is only a channel receiving from Him. The next ayah is all that is in the heavens and that is on earth makes tasbih to God. His is all dominion, and to Him all praise is due, and He is powerful over all things. And this is also something that we repeat all the time. لَهُ الْمُلْكُ وَلَهُ الْحَمْدُ وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. And in Surah Al-Isra, the seven heavens and the earth and everyone in them glorify Him. There is not a single thing that does not make tasbih with praise, but you do not grasp the tasbih. Here, those who don't grasp the tasbeeh, the context is the disbelievers. He is most forbearing, most forgiving. So we want to see a clear example of, there are many of those, and I love these passages because it teaches you how to reflect. These are things that we are supposed to practice every day until it becomes our way of perceiving things. And if and when we forget, we remember. When we say subhanallah, we remember. Why are we remembering now? Because we already learned the process. If I never learned the process, subhanallah will never mean anything. It will not touch my heart and move my heart and my soul, and so it will be just a word that I'm saying. But the more you start following this kind of teachings in the Qur'an, the more, when you say Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, you feel like you are in another world. Because we will be in another world. Not in the world of everything is happening ordinary, but everything is a ayah, everything is a miracle. We say water. Yeah, but water. Can you imagine? It's a miracle. I am seeing. If I couldn't see, how much will we give to be able to see? We take so many things for granted. And there is joy in being in awe and appreciation of what is given to us in and out. So look at this in Surah Al-Waqi'ah. It says, since you are indeed aware of the miracle of your coming into being in the first instance, why then do you not تذكرون? Why don't you remember? Why don't you bethink yourself? The miracle of you, human being, coming into existence. Isn't a miracle? Even people who don't believe in God, when a baby is born, they are at all amazed. And if you learn how the baby grows in the womb, you are amazed whether you believe in God or not. Because it is amazing. So it says, so why don't you reflect? Why don't you bethink yourself? Have you seen the seed which you cast upon the soil? Is it you who causes to grow? Or are we the cause of the growth? Are we the ones who make it grow? Just be honest. To be a student of the Qur'an, honesty is necessary. Otherwise, we won't gain anything. But because with honesty will come the humility of the truth. The truth is that we don't make anything grow. We don't create anything. I don't make myself see. Nothing is mine. The more I reflect, the more I give the amana, the trust, back to its owner. It means I stop stealing from God. And the more, when I'm stealing from God deep down, I know that it's not mine. That's why there is like a burden. I know it's not mine. I'm just pretending. I'm pretending to be who I'm not. But deep down, I know that if anything happens, who will help me? I can't help myself. And if I can't help myself, even the most beloved people around me can't help me. But when we surrender, we accept the reality and surrender the trust back to its owner, then there is the joy and the gratitude and the awe, and everything is so meaningful. And now there is no fear, as we are told again and again. The believers, لا خوف عليهم ولا يحزنون. No fear, no sadness. Why? They trust in the one who is powerful over all things. Be, and it is. And together, the most important thing is this world is Transient. It's passing. Where is yesterday? Where is last month? Where is this morning? Oh, perspective changes totally. Now, the focus is on preparing for eternal life. Everything changes. So, who is it? Look at the seed. Is it you who causes it to grow, or are we the cause of its growth? For were it our will, we could indeed turn it into chaff. It will never grow. And you would be left to wander and lament. Have you seen the water that you drink? Is it you who causes it to grow, come down from the cloud, or are we the one who bring it down? It comes down sweet, but were it our will, we could make it burning salty and bitter. Why then do you not give thanks? Every time we drink water, someone is sending this to me and making it sweet and meeting all my needs with it. Have you seen the fire which you kindle? Is it you who have brought into being the tree that serves as its fuel? I mean, even gas and oil and things, they all originally trees, plants. Or are we the cause of its coming into being? It is we who have made it a means to remind you of us and a comfort for all who are lost and hungry in the wilderness. We use the fire for cooking, all industry, all, not only heating and cooking, everything else is you use fire. So, therefore, فَسَبِّحْ بِاسْمِ رَبِّكَ الْعَظِيمِ. So glorify. So make tasbeeh. This is how you make tasbeeh. I'm using the water, I'm using the seed. I'm saying, oh, it's growing. Even when I don't say I'm growing it, I say it's growing. How can it grow? It doesn't know how to grow. What's involved in it growing? What's involved? Water, blind, unconscious, lifeless. Soil, same. Air, same. Everything is the same. How come? Sunshine is the same. How about the seed itself? We say DNA this. What is DNA? Sugar, phosphate. Yeah. They are all nutrition. They are matter. Simple matters. The order they are put in matters. But the order can't be, someone has to put it in that way. And that order, how does it become something? Just because I put all the instructions, the recipe, and then I put next to the recipe all the ingredients, and then I say, the cake came out, all kinds of cakes and breads and things. I say, oh, the kitchen is making it. I just put, like you were baking for me, and I say, isn't that fantastic? I just put a recipe book, and then I put some ingredients, and then every day I have food. The one who is baking and cooking will give me a good slap, or how ungrateful and how foolish and deluded you are. You can't be deluded. Something amazing, miraculous is happening. Because for that to happen, for a seed to grow, the whole universe has to exist first. It's not like only a little bit of air. No. A little bit of air and a little bit of soil, a little bit of water. No. For the sunshine to be, the sun has to be there. So the whole universe. So only the maker, the creator of the universe can create a seed and can make a seed into a tree.
So Yamina, your example with the baking, would it be like if you, let's say, have one of these new ovens, like brand of whatever brand, and this is like, a very high-tech oven, and then you have someone who's baking the cake, and then the cake comes out, and instead of saying like, so the idea of tasbeeh, it means like to refute anything except the real doer. So if it's the cake that's coming out of the oven, can you imagine, like you said, instead of the cake coming out of the oven, everyone's saying, what kind of oven is this? Like, oh my goodness, I don't have this oven. If I could just get this oven, this is the most perfect oven. And no one is speaking about the baker. Everyone is concentrated on the oven. Oh, I need to have this oven. Another friend had this oven. And I also tasted the same. So the focus is on the oven and not on the one who baked the cake using the oven. So I like the equation that you had here. If I could read correctly, then I would realize I'd be looking who is the doer. Like when you were explaining Bismillah means I intend to see the doer. If I intend to see the doer, then seeing the oven as the doer and being thankful to the oven shows me that I'm not on the right path. And also, if my thanks go to the oven, then all of my focus is on the oven. Do I have the oven? Who has the oven? My oven.
So you mean to check ourselves?
Yes.
Like, for instance, typical classical example is when we finish eating, we say Alhamdulillah, praise to God only. Actually, we are saying. But then, in my heart, I feel this was delicious. I love this, and then maybe we start talking about the food, and I want, and where did you buy it? I want to get it as well. So my attachment to the food is to the food, but not as the food is making tasbeeh of God. Just I liked the taste. This is when we are in ghafla. The believer, the conscious believer is, as you are eating, there are lots of layers of reflection and of tasbih. There is one which is, I'm putting it in my mouth and suddenly it just melts and it's digested. I'm witnessing, observing, making shahada. I am not making this. There is another one, the food, I put it here, especially when you're hungry. It tastes so good and it feels so good. What is feeling to do with a piece of food? Can piece of food, does it know me? Does it give me feelings? Does it speak to my soul? It doesn't know anything. If I throw it, if I eat too much of it, if it was the source of my joy, then the more I eat, the more joy. No. If I eat too much and I am full, it doesn't taste good anymore. If we eat too much and you say, I don't want to see it, it means it's not the source. It is because we have been given hunger. It means the need for the food. Whoever gave me the hunger created the food and made the match. And the matching, to make me pay attention, he gave me that joy. If there was no joy, I would just eat. But because there is joy, I feel like I'm given, the gratitude is given to me. As a believer, when we did the gratitude is not from me, it's given. What is my part is, I give it to whom? To the food or to the maker of the food and the maker, the one who made the food delicious for me. That's my part. Being happy, even a hungry kitten, give him the food they like, they will be also very happy. So the gratitude, the appreciation is already given. The appreciation is given to attract my attention. What's going on here? Something out there, I put it in my mouth and something miraculous happens. The more you pause there, the more you say, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. This can't do it. Someone is doing it. Prostration. Alhamdulillah. Praise is only to him. Now the heart is filled with the love of the giver, the gifter, the bestower. And the more I appreciate the food, the more I am grateful. And now the food is not just a food I like. It's a gift from God, and it is an ayah, and it is a teacher. It is teaching me about my Rabb. It is teaching me how to make the shahada. It's teaching me how to make tasbeeh. The food becomes something special, sacred. That's why a believer won't just throw it, because this is very valuable.
So it's like my measure, my personal measure, if I'm making tasbih correctly or not, is the outcome of tasbih. If the tasbih outcome for me puts me in awe of the doer and makes my heart in gratitude for the doer, then that is tasbih. But any tasbih that does not take me there is just lip service, like, which maybe is a step, but so the outcome is like what moves my heart and takes me to that state of like, because like when we eat something, I like, we said that before an hour, like when I eat dark chocolate, which, you know, Yamina got last time, I was like, you know, and I've been learning with Yamina for a long time, I was so much into the dark chocolate. Yamina remembered, she got me my dark chocolate, and today Ziba got the dark chocolate in the car, and I was like, my dark chocolate. And like I need to remember and stop and say, like, stop like being so happy about the dark chocolate.
Astaghfirullah.
Like I need to like take a pause and say, like, why, like, you know, this is a gift to me, whether Yamina was made to bring it or Ziba or whether I bought it. This is my gift, and the one, for this to come to me, the whole universe has to be like under his control to make, like, you know, to be in the right plantation and the right, and then I have to be given the taste, and these two things need to come together, the food and me with appreciation.
So now the chocolate becomes like relegated to the background. Now what is the focus is my Rabb, the creator, gifting. So, and the heart now is not focused on the chocolate as much, but more and more on the gifter.
This takes like intention, like it takes that, like I intend to do this. I intend to, like to check my heart. Where is my gratitude when I'm happy about something? Where is, like,
Yeah, but
where is
that only works if we are doing
tasbih correctly?
this first. Otherwise, I check in my heart, and what can I do?
I value the lip service too. It keeps tasbih in the agenda.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean,
Yeah.
I will only do the real tasbih, otherwise.
Oh, you mean, of course.
Yeah, the one that we do
No, no,
after.
no, no.
Yeah.
That one is the seed. We don't throw the seeds because I don't have enough water or I don't have the right thing.
Many years ago, I
Let's-
decided not to do it and told Yamina Abla, I was in high school, I'm not going to do tasbih anymore. It's just once. Like I thought it was just meaningless or something. But then it keeps it in the agenda. Like you have it. It's matching what's required of you in the Quran.
First, it's a seed. Second, there is the blessing, the barakah of the word. They are divine words. It's protecting you even when you don't know. And because it's always there, you are more likely to one day, if the seeds are there, one day there is a little bit of water or something, it starts sprouting. So we cannot say, I'm not going to say the word until. No, you say the word, the more you say them and you do this, if you're doing this and you're not saying the words, it's also not going to work. Because it's all about practicing. And part of the practice is saying the words, because the words is what reminds me of doing the work. And so the dark chocolate could be my partner. Like, what gives me joy? Dark chocolate, like a tiny partner. It could be money, it could be career, it could be something else. So have you seen those partners of yours that you call upon besides God? Show me what part of the earth have they created? What share of the heavens do they possess? And in the next one, have you seen those who you invoke instead of God? show me which part of the earth they created or which share of the heavens they own. So this is again and again we are asked.
So maybe this is our metric to ask ourselves when we give value to something, which part of the earth did it create, which part of heaven does it own? Like that is like a question to ask ourselves.
And we are told also, those whom they invoke instead of God cannot respond to them in any way. Water gives life, sun gives life, source of life.
But if you're dying, you can't say, water, give me life now.
Even if you are thirsty and you can't move and water is there, it can't come. And if this is what it says, the call of truth is made to him alone. Asking for help is to God alone. And everything they call instead of God cannot respond to them. It is like someone who stretches his cupped hands towards water, hoping that it will reach its mouth. It never gets there. Hence the call of the disbeliever is all in vain. And the next one in Surah Al-A'raf is also interesting. And yet, when he gives them a good child, they ascribe partners to God. They ask God, please give us a good, healthy, and good character child. And when the child comes, they say, oh, my child is better than your child. You see, my child is very smart. My child looks good. My child, because the child is like a prolongation of ourselves. So it's me and my child, my house. They're all extensions. And so, do they ascribe? As he gives them the child, they ascribe partners. They commit shirk in what he has granted them. They will say, I was eating well, I was healthy, our genes are good, he looks like his grandfather was very smart. That's it. We forget that it was from Allah. Do they ascribe to him partners that can create nothing? So what if his father was smart? His father maybe is passed away, doesn't even know about the child. Can create nothing since they are themselves created. And neither can they help them at all, nor even help themselves. And if you pray to them for guidance, they do not respond to you. It is the same to you, whether you call them or you remain silent. Truly, all those whom you invoke instead of God are but created beings like yourselves. Invoke them then, and let them answer your prayer, if what you claim is true. Do they have feet with which to walk, or hands to strike, or eyes to see, or ears to hear? We can apply this to the dark chocolate, to the water, to everything around. Yeah, everything. Do they have? Say, call unto your partners, then scheme against me, and do not give me response. You can see it's all teaching us how to refute shirk. How do I refute shirk? For instance, you have a beautiful flowers. I look at the flowers and say, it's beautiful. And I feel like something attracted to it. I buy it, I put it in and look at it every day. Qur'an says, is it beautiful itself? Is it any source of beauty? Can it make itself that way? Can it give? Or is it we say, no, it's not itself. It's the soil, the seed, it's in genes. This is this kind of species. They are all like this pink, beautiful pink species. It was in a seed. There is soil, water. Where is the color in the seed? Someone is giving that shape, that color, that. The seed is my prayer. But not to the soil, not to the water, the air, and the sunlight. To the maker of the seed, the maker of everything. And when I see it, the one who creates it made me appreciate the beauty that is there. And just if you have doubt, wait. 1 week, 2 weeks later, it starts wilting. There's no color, no shape, nothing, and then it dies, it becomes chaff. Clearly, it is saying, I am not the source of beauty. It's not from me. It is making its shahada, it's making its tasbih. Now, if I look at it and say, and ask my questions, can it do it? Is there anything else? And they all say, we can't do it. The one who put us all together, someone else, there is a source beyond, a source of life, a source of beauty. And I say, Subhanallah. Yes, you are the giver of form, the giver of color, the giver of beauty, the beautiful, al-jameel, the giver of life, al-muhyi, and you are al-mumit, the giver of death. You take it away. So now, I don't say the flower is beautiful. I said, how beautifully it is made. How beautifully it is made. Subhanallah. That's why we all learn through culture. When you see something beautiful, what do we say? Subhanallah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah, whatever Allah willed. These words, these seeds, in the Qur'an, we are taught how to fill them with meanings. So, do we see that everything is making tasbih? Is it possible to see that everything is making tasbih? Yes. Everything is refuting shirk. It's saying,
God is the way God is, then it better do, because it's such a big claim, being the ultimate creator.
but like the flower is refuting, it's saying, I am not the source of the beauty. I'm not the source of anything. Whoever is making me beautiful, and then it takes my beauty. And when we learn, it is an ayah, it is a sign. It is making God known to us. It is teaching us how to know God with His beautiful names. And I cannot know God with His beautiful names if I ascribe beauty to the flower itself. Then I will not know who the source of beauty, the all beautiful one is. That's why here we say, don't you see that it is God that everything glorifies? Whoever is in the heavens and the earth and the birds with wings outspread, each one knows its salat, its prayer, and its tasbih. They all know their tasbih. They created to make, in a way, the way they're created is the tasbih. And God is all knower of what they do. Is it possible to see? If Allah says, don't you see, and it's repeated a lot, He says, don't you see that it is God who sends the rain from? We did it in the past. In the beginning, unless I learn from the Qur'an, I don't see. I see rain coming itself. And we read the Qur'an, and then we pass. We say, of course, I see the rain coming in itself, but I say I'm a Muslim. It must be God who has sent it. No, Allah is saying, do you see? Don't you see? So if I'm honest with myself, I have to stop and say, but I'm not seeing. How can I see? And it teaches me. I say, can water just go up there and come itself? There are so many laws, so many, an order. Does it know all the steps? H2O knows all these things. No way. Someone who has power over everything, knowledge over everything, controlling everything can only do this. And I say, yes, this is a miracle that water is evaporating, going up and then coming again. It can't be coming on its own. Someone is doing it. And someone with the power to control everything. So when I see now the rain, I say, Subhanallah. Before I said, don't you see the rain coming? God is sending it. If I'm honest and I look into my heart, I don't see God sending. I see water coming. But if we pause and follow the teaching of the Qur'an, we'll be at all amazed at water coming up and coming down. And coming, as we are told, drop by drop. It says it could have been the whole, huge, can you imagine, huge clouds, mountains of water dropping and destroying everything. No, it comes gently. It's mercy. Subhanallah. MashaAllah. Tabarakallah. So Wonderland everywhere is so amazing. And that's the soul, the food for the soul. That's what the soul longs for. The body needs air, water, food. The heart needs friendship, love, good words, meaning, right? And the soul needs God, needs the beautiful names. And they are everywhere, but we're starving it. And then we feel like something is missing. I'm bored. Something doesn't make, nothing is satisfying. We say, I'm bored of here. You go to a new place. After a few days, the same feeling comes. Because yes, good. A new place is good. But if I don't have the right attitude, it's not going to be the solution. So we do see, and we can see. Not only we see with our eyes, but with our heart, with our emotions everywhere, and it's beyond intellectual understanding. It starts with that, but it goes beyond. And that's why Tasbeeh is related to the beautiful names of God. In Surah Al-Hashr, it's one of the musabbihat. There are 7 surahs that start with sabbaha. Everything glorifies to God. And these surahs are called al-musabbihat. So this Surah Al-Hashr starts with all that is in the heavens and on earth makes tasbih to God. For He alone is almighty, all-wise. And then the other one are the 3 last ayat of this surah. Look how meaningful they are. Look at this is a surah, a passage that is recited a lot during the prayers. So if you go to the mosque, you hear it a lot. He is God, other than whom there is no God. Huwallahu alladhi la ilaha illa hu. This is a formula, so precise. There is no God except He. How come? How do we know? Because it's a big claim. And then he says, the knower of the unseen and the seen, and He is the compassionate and merciful. Again, He is God, other than whom there is no other God. The sovereign, this, a list of beautiful names of God, divine names. And then it says at the end, Subhanallah, Hi amma yushrikun. So how do we know? It says, because the names of God, it says there is no God except Him, because He is the supreme, this. The beautiful names belong to Him. And anything shirk, you say, no. I know also people who are very knowledgeable. They get a brain stroke, they will forget everything. That knowledge was given to them. And they know deep down if they are honest. Don't we know that what we know or what we understand right now is given to us? How do we know? Sometimes you read something and you can't understand. You say, what's going on? It's not from me. Or you knew something very well and you forget it. You forget, you want to remember, it doesn't come. You are doing the dishes, it comes. It's not mine. It comes and goes, not at my command. And the last one is, He is God, the Creator, the maker who shapes all forms and appearances. So to him alone belongs the beautiful names. So why is only he is God, only he is worth worshiping, only him we can ask for help, and we can ask for protection from harm, because all the beautiful names belong only to him. Makes sense, right? But how do I know the beautiful names belong to him only? All that is in the heavens and the earth glorify him. Look around you. They are all refuting any shirk. They are making tasbeeh. So if we make tasbeeh, next step is all the beautiful names belong to God. Because we saw the flower making tasbeeh for the beauty, for instance. So now we know that the source of beauty is only with him. All the beauty, I don't have to now go and do everything, and once I get used to, it doesn't have to be a flower. It could be a beautiful woman. For the flower, it's 2 weeks later. For a beautiful woman, it's 20 years later. All that beauty goes. After a certain age, everyone, more or less, they look like each other.
This is a very critical statement. After the service, we look more and more.
Yeah, but it's the beauty of the soul. But the beauty of it's given. It's given. It's like you see something in a mirror. Everything is like a mirror. And what we see in the mirror depends on what is being reflected. When things change in the mirror, we don't say the mirror is this. We start looking outside. What is being reflected? Where is it being reflected? So beings are mirrors reflecting the beautiful names of God. So he is God, the only God. Why? There is nothing else is God. Nothing else is worth worshiping. How do we know? Look, all the beautiful names belong to him only. How do we know? Look, everything is making tasbih to him. Everything is refuting shirk. The beauty does not belong to me, the flower says. The water says life-giving does not belong to me. They all are saying there is only one life giver. There is only one source of beauty. Make sense? So can you see how tasbih is key to witnessing the beautiful names everywhere? Otherwise, we will see the names, but we won't see it as divine. We'll attribute it to ourselves, to things, and that is shirk. And shirk is dhulmun adhim, is a big wrongdoing. And the first wrongdoing to ourselves. And it has consequences in the world as well. Greed and jealousy and all comes from that shirk. If I know everything is from God, I see you have something that I like as well, I say, oh, mashallah. If she has it, it means it can be, I can ask as well. But if that is disconnected, cut off, say, why she has that and not me? I start feeling frustrated now. So lots of wrongdoing and lots of unwanted things and diseases of the heart, as we are told in the Islamic tradition, start cropping when there is shirk.
So you mean a wrongdoing, like when we say there is wrongdoing, when we give like attributes, when we think this is caused by something rather than God. Like this is easy like to understand from like the scientific world, like when we are publishing. If you were found out to take an idea for someone else and claim it yours, you are like, you are then, this is totally unethical, you are banned. If you like, if you even take like, a sentence, like a phrase, and put it in your work, your thesis, then it is totally unethical and you get banned from it and everyone looks down on you should not claim anything that's not us, but because like God is unseen, it is easy to commit plagiarism with God and say, this is my intelligence, because I don't have a committee that's out there and saying, did you, like, if I'm not the committee,
With
I'm
plagiarism,
not
it's a convention. Morally, it's a convention. If no one catches me, I'm good. Nothing. Here, it's more than that. That's just an example. Here, it's existentially, there will be consequence. First, I am depriving myself of all the goodness that I have access to, an infinite source of blessing. I'm cutting myself off that, and I am now putting myself, all the burden on myself. I have to do it myself. I have to work hard. And that, it's not a burden only on our physical life, but on the ruh, on the spirit and the heart. It's huge because we are not created for that burden. So it's more than just moral in that sense. If I'm not caught, I'm okay. This one is, whether I'm caught or not, deep down, I know it. Not only Allah knows it, but I know it. And I'm depriving, the worst thing is, I'm depriving myself of the source of blessing and depriving my soul of fulfilling the purpose of its life. I'm depriving myself of preparing for eternal life. That's the worst thing that can happen to me. And deep down, we know. That's why the fear of death and after death starts growing. The fear was given to us to pull us back from dunya, from the worldly, and spend more time. Because this is not, and we talked about it a lot in the previous session, this is not worldly versus otherworldly. In ghafla, it seems like there is worldly and otherworldly. In the worldview of the Qur'an, all the worldly is teaching me about God. So it's not like I have to not look around me, otherwise I forget the God. It's like in Christian, like the world is bad. No, the world is glorifying God. It is by witnessing their glorification, by interacting with them in the way I'm taught in the Qur'an, by eating in the name of God consciously, by doing everything in the name of God and interacting with them, everything becomes ibadah, worship, and everything increases my iman, my knowing God, and I will feel the presence of God in everything. That's why we are told, wherever you turn, there is the face of God. فَثَمَّ وَجْهَ اللَّهِ. Wherever you look, you see the beautiful names of God. You see the face of God. So it becomes, there is no division. Everything becomes, I drink water, subhanallah, tabarakallah, masha'Allah. My drinking water becomes a time of dhikr, of remembrance, of ibadah, of worship. I know God more. I'm now more humility, more gratitude, more praising Him. Because if there is subhana, then there is you alone is the giver of life. Like the shahada. La ilaha illa anta. So that's why the prayer of Yunus alayhi salam, which is tasbeeh again, La ilaha illa anta, there is no God except you, subhanaka inni kuntu min adh-dhalimin. Yunus alayhi salam, and we are told if he had not been of al-musabbihin, musabbihin is not like he, from time to time, he makes tasbih. No, this is his career, his practice. He is a musabbih. So if he were not one of those who glorify, he would have remained in the whale to the judgment day. So what happened? It's at night, right? And there is a storm, night storm, sea, and you are thrown into the sea. Could it be worse? It's not only you are thrown into the sea, already there is panic and fear. It's at night, you don't see what's going on, plus it's very tumultuous, it's stormy. And then first panic, fear, because you look around horizontally, it looks that, that's it, I am done. Because we see as if things are happening on their own. We call it in science natural laws. Natural laws are all horizontal. Is it true? No. Everything is acting under the control of one. Everything is following the command of beings. They are acting, everything is operating under the divine laws of mercy, the divine laws of power, the divine laws of help. He is the helper. He's the compassionate. So, and then he remembered, no, they have no power on their own. They cannot do anything to me except by divine will. If Allah wills me to die now, it means that's the time for I'm going to leave this world anyway. So, instead of fearing them, subhanaka, la ilaha illa anta, these cannot be gods. They have no power on their own. They are all acting under your command, subhanaka. Surrender, full surrender. And that's why we are told that this supplication is very powerful. Because tasbeeh is the key to the beautiful names of God. Beautiful names of God means the power, treasure, of all the blessings. All the blessings, for instance, I have sickness, I call unto the healer, Ash-Shafi. The beautiful names of God are the source of all our blessings. So this is a miracle. Tasbeeh is miracle. And we are told the believers are only those who believe in our ayat are only إنما المؤمنون يؤمن بآياتنا. Only those, when they are reminded of them, it means they know them, and when they are reminded, what they do? They fall in sujood, they fall in prostration. This is a sujood ayah, so inshallah later let's make sajda. They fall down in prostration. Prostration, what does it mean? When we are told the trees fall down, or the whole creation is in sujood, just like we made for tasbih, we are told everything makes sujood to God. What does it mean? They are obedient, in submission, in surrender to the divine will. So they prostrate physically and metaphorically. Physically also helps with humility. It cultivates that sense of humility before our Creator. And وَسَبَّحُوا, and they glorify, they make tasbih of their Rabb. Their Rabb. The Rabb is the one who takes care of our needs. With praise, so this with praise will come to it, with hamd, as they are not arrogant. Arrogance is a quality of the disbeliever. The more arrogance, the less arrogance we have, it means the less deluded we have, the less I claim things are mine. Because remember, the source of all shirk is the I appropriating things to itself. If I appropriate it to itself, I appropriate by extension to everything else. So the more I am willing to not be arrogant, to prostrate before God physically and in real life, submitting, following the Sharia, following the divine will in all ways that we know, and consciously making tasbih, subhanaka. It's not from me, therefore, it's not from her, it's not from the flower, it's not from the water, it's only from one. So can you see, the disbelievers, they are arrogant. those who are with your sustainer, with your Lord, with your Rabb, they make tasbeeh tirelessly night and day. So the difference between the disbeliever and the believer, the disbeliever is arrogant. The believer prostrates, no arrogance, that's a sign of submission, no arrogance, and tirelessly, constantly making tasbih. MashaAllah, subhanallah, subhanallah. Forget, again, back. It's okay, you go out of the wrong exit, back. As long as we go back, all is well. As long as we're willing to submit to the divine will. And next is so that you may believe in God and His messenger and honor Him and revere Him and glorify Him and make tasbih morning and evening. How do we revere God? How do I honor Him if I think I am the one who sees, the one who does, because if I am the one who is the agent, the creator in my life, that means by extension, everyone else and everything else, they are the creators. Cannot honor God that way. God's sphere shrinks in my misperception. So astaghfirullah, subhanallah. No, everything is His. And Musa alayhi salam, look at the prophets, what they did. He says, so that he's asking help with him and his brother Harun, Aaron. And he says, so that we can glorify you much, kathira, abundantly, and remember you often. How do I remember God? By making tasbih. Tasbih is the key and the gate to everything that comes next. It's so beautiful in the Qur'an and teaches you one by one. We just need to be honest, patient, persevere, and practice. Not only read, but go and practice. Not only practice first intellectually, and then live it, worship it, apply it to ourselves. So tasbih with hamd is repeated a lot, that the creation beings, all beings, they yusabbihuna bihamdi rabbihim. And so we are told also to do tasbih with hamd. Because tasbih on its own, if we stop there, it's not enough. Okay, we're saying no imperfection, but we also have to consciously and actively give the perfection to God. The beautiful names belong to God. I have to witness that, confirm that, so I appreciate and praise Him. Praising Him means you alone is the beautiful. You alone is this. So bihamdih, the tasbih now is complete. And just as we were told everything in the creation makes the tasbih with hamd, with praise, we are told as an imperative, a command, and put your trust, tawakkul, in the ever-living one who does not die, and glorify Him and make tasbih with His praise. He is all aware of the sins of His servants. So trust and tasbih. Next one, sabr, patience, perseverance, and tasbih. For what God has promised is sure to come. To get ready for akhirah, we need perseverance, patience. And ask forgiveness, so asking forgiveness for your sins, and make tasbih of your Rabb. Be patient over what they say, and make tasbih of your Rabb with praise. Before the rising of the sun and before the setting. And of the night, make tasbih, and after the prostration. Then glorify with praise of your sustainer, your Rabb, and ask his forgiveness, for indeed he is always ready to accept forgiveness.
So like the means, like the tools to practice tasbih, like the way I'm understanding, the outcome is hamd, is gratitude that is solely to God. And the tools to get to that hamd is sabr, like pausing, intentionality, and istighfar, like, istighfar from, istighfar from thinking it is this that is causing this, or me that is owning this, that is the istighfar part. So istighfar and pausing are coming together, which is like sabr and istighfar. So these are the tools. And when I use these tools of intentionality, of seeing the doer, pausing with that's the sabr part, and istighfar for like the times, or like, my baseline of not doing this, then tasbih, which is seeing how everything claims it's not me, it is my Rabb, that will then take me to like hamd, like, gratitude with awe, like being in on gratitude. And just like, Sibel was saying, like the more we are doing like the tasbih on a regular basis, like I find it in myself, thank you Sibel for the reminder, is that when your heart is ready because of situation, because of something, the tasbih all of a sudden
Because we're
becomes very, but if there was no tasbih on a regular basis, then when that situation comes in, you would have claimed it yourself, or given the claim, or given the gratitude to something else, like, so it's like, like my neighbor sometimes says, oh, the universe works in different ways. It's the universe, like when we don't plan to meet and then everyone meets in the exact moment, my neighbor says, look how the universe works. So like she's in gratitude, but she's giving the gratitude to, and only when you are in that continuous state of making hamd, even if your heart's not there, the moments when something happens and your heart is there and you pause with sabr and you make istighfar for it, then it becomes clear, then that is a different state of
The ideal would be to make it a daily practice.
Yes.
When you make it a daily practice, it doesn't mean that 24/7, we are not like the Prophet, we will be in that state. That's why the rest of the time when we are not present, we are still making it, and during the day there will be a time when we will make it. And if we do both, they complement each other, they reinforce each other, and acting, like for instance, going into sajda, like during the prayer, or when we hear something like this, going to sajda is for the ego, it is telling it, stop, like know your limits. And for the soul, it is like, I am now in the presence of my beloved. So it's both. And that's the first action. When we do it physically like that, then we can't, like few hours later, we won't be like arrogant, oh, you didn't understand this? I understand everything. Kids do it sometimes. Or my father is taller than your father, or something like that. But we are all acting like kids in some areas, maybe not in all areas. That's why we make istighfar, because the aim is not to be perfect. Perfection belongs to God only. But to know our imperfection, and in the background or our imperfection, we are at awe of His perfection and His infinite mercy, and in His infinite willingness to forgive us all those things. So we are willing to make small things, and those small things, when we are asked to fast or to pray or to do this, they're all for us. It's not from God, for God, to prepare us to be receptive of the message, so that the soul will grow, so that it is, when it goes to Akhirah, like the Prophet ﷺ in Mi'raj, he says, مَا زَاغَ الْبَصَرَ وَمَا طَغَى. He recognized what he saw there, because he was familiar with the truths of everything here. All the truth of everything looks to the beautiful names of God. And the beautiful names of God, when we affirm and confirm the beautiful names of God, we can affirm and confirm akhirah here and now. Belief in akhirah is very much emphasized in the Qur'an. And if I can witness the beautiful names of God here and now and experience them and experience their eternal character, because the soul is from the eternal, it has that sense of the eternal, can only be satisfied with the infinite and eternal, then we will have yaqeen, certainty of the hereafter. That's why in the Qur'an we are told to believe, iman bil akhirah, and yaqeen bil akhirah, certainty of akhirah. And certainty of akhirah cannot be after I die. After I die, it's too late. Has to be now, here and now, and it is possible.
So you're giving another equation for those who are perfectionists and workaholics and goal-oriented. Our goal is not to be the perfect one. Our goal is to see the perfection of the Creator in anything we do. Like whenever I am completing the job or meeting the deadline or explaining the thing the way I want to or publishing, to see the doer's perfection in enabling me to do this, in creating my consciousness, in giving me the resources. So it's a good way of thinking of like changing our goals into publish the most cited article, or do the most perfect painting, or to say see the doer's perfection in what I'm doing, like how I was enabled to do it, like seek the perfection, seek finding God's perfection, whether I'm baking, cooking, hosting, publishing, whatever it is. I'm not trying to be perfect because that is a big burden. It means that I could be perfect today. I'm worried about, can I be perfect tomorrow? If I see someone else who's more perfect than me, I'm jealous. If I feel
And
I'm
also
less perfect,
the
I'm
value
bad.
of myself and others
is
is
related to perfection.
to what they do, which is not true.
But
The most valued in a household are the babies. They don't do nothing. They only make you work, and they don't let you sleep, and everyone is amazed and so happy to help. And so it's our ubudiyah is in our weakness, recognizing our neediness. Our neediness is the key to the beautiful names. So it's not in claiming I am such a good cook or such a good. It's claiming, recognizing the neediness, my need. And my need, when I'm aware of my need, then I become aware that my needs are being fulfilled. And so my gratitude increases. And tasbeeh is part of it, because if it's a need, I cannot claim that it's mine, what's coming with it. Look at this verses about tasbeeh and prostration. It says, when the Qur'an is read, hearken to it and listen in silence, so that you might be graced with mercy. And remember and mention your Rabb, your sustainer, with yourself, humbly and with awe, and without raising your voice at morn and at evening. And do not be of the mindless, the heedless, al-ghafil. Behold, those who are with your Rabb, the God conscious, are never too proud to worship Him. They are not arrogant, they are not too proud. And they glorify, they make وَيُسَبِّحُونَهُ وَلَهُ يَسْجُدُونَ. And they glorify Him, and unto Him they prostrate themselves. So before it was those who make tasbeeh, they are the one who make tasbeeh. They prostrate to God only. It doesn't say they prostrate to God. To God they prostrate in Arabic means only to God. And the next one is, hence proclaim openly all that you have been bidden and ignore the mushrikeen, those who commit shirk. We are enough for you against all those who ridicule this message, who set up another God beside God. They will come to know. We are well aware that your heart is weighed down by what they say. So, فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ. So glorify, make tasbeeh of your sustainer with hamd, with praise, and be of those who prostrate sajideen. Again, it's not like from time to time, you are in a state of sajda. And that's why you make sajda all the time. You love being in sajda. And sajda, metaphorically, is always being humble before God. How do we humble? We learn God say, live like this, don't do this, do this. I strive to apply it, and it becomes easy because there is no arrogance. Because there is the resistance of the ego comes, we justify, of course, our resistance. We don't say, I have resistance. All those justifications are because we are not willing to submit and surrender. That's the sujood. Just like before it says, kun min al-musabbih, it says the musabbihin, here it says, be of the sajidin. Glorify your Rabb with hamd and be of the sajidin. So we go into sajda and we try. How do you feel in sajda? Like I'm nothing before God. I am totally dependent of God, on God. Not 70%. Are we dependent 70%? 100%. If I'm dependent 100% means what belongs to me, of my life, of my body, of everything that I claim mine in this worldly meaning. Is it truly mine? No. Zero. I am. My ownership is zero. It means the ownership of the maker of my Rabb is 100%. 100% means one. That is Tawheed. One. There is one. One, not as opposed to 2, 3, 4. One as opposed to 80%, 90%. Allah says, I don't accept that, because if it's 80%, it means you do not understand who God is. It means you do not understand who you are. In one single event, if I am in true Tawheed, I am truly surrendered. I may not be always like that, but in that moment, because I can't be 70% and I am prostrating to God. It means I'm still claiming things from me. Those moments of true Tawheed, true surrender, true submission, we need to cultivate them.
So, Yamina, the cultivation, every time you cultivate this, it becomes easier to cultivate again. So, like Sayyidina Yunus, when things were dark and he was, as you said, the darkness of the night and the storm and the sea, like he started, like he must have started before, but Subhanaka, la ilaha illa anta inni kuntu min adh-dhalimin. I shared the story with you before, but some of you
I was the one who misperceived things.
So I had a story when I was in Egypt. My nephew, he had a severe back injury, and he had a disc prolapse. But he had more than a disc prolapse. He had to really lie down on his back, and they were they were worried about if he can walk again. And that was at the time that I just visited Egypt, and I'm a physician, and I come from a very prestigious university. I'm not just like this is my ego, no, but I'm telling you why I'm saying that. So I went and said, everyone in this university, from the departments I need, whether it's neurosurgery or orthopedics, they know me personally. And I went in there with this confidence that I'm gonna get him the best doctor. And I, people, because I'm traveling, they see me once every few years, they want to help me. So I went with that kind of arrogance, and asking, my friends, like, who are now, like, heads of departments, and all of them said, yes, Dr. Alia, will be there. What is, like, definitely, and those, so I had, like, at least 2 or 3, different colleagues of mine who were committed to come. And that, like, was what was my way of being part of his healing. Like, that I will secure the best physicians in this best university to come to you. In, like, less than 24 hours, the 3 people, like the 3 very well-known physicians, each called for a different reason. One of them said, I have been called right now by, like, the Egyptian, sports team that is going somewhere else. They've called me because an injury happened. The other one, the 3 of them, they apologized for
They
me.
became unavailable.
Unavailable, like from 3 of them being available into 3 being unavailable. And that after I promised my brother and my sister-in-law, don't worry, your son is gonna get the best, like, And that night I remember just crying and going into sujood and saying, Ya Allah, I cannot do this. Like, I thought, like, I have any say, like, there is nothing I can do. It's only through you. Like, really, La ilaha illallah subhanak became very clear to me. Because the arrogance, like, not arrogance, but like that feel, I've got you. Like, I am gonna
The arrogance
get the
here
best
is not
doctors for
is
you.
not going around boasting. It's
It is
arrogance
just like, I can
relying
give you that.
on ourselves or on causes apart from God, or forgetting that He is the one in control.
And subhanAllah, in my worldly vision, I had the excuse. This is a good university. Those people who are head of departments are my friends. We've, like, known each other since we were in med. So it didn't happen. I spent the whole night crying and crying and praying and crying. And in the morning, someone who has nothing to do with any of my friends or any of anything called them based on someone else, and they came to him, and, like, they were the best. He started, and it was totally out of me, as if Allah was telling me, if that's the way you're gonna, like, if that, because if these friends came in, guess what will happen? I would believe that.
Maybe just 1%. 99% to God. Of course, 1%
But
Ali
it
That-
would have
so
given me
Allah
this
out
arrogance,
of-
and Allah said, Alia, no.
Allah, out of His compassion, He gives us a little slap of compassion, because turn back to me, because we are not here to get the best physicians, although we are given the desire, but without forgetting that the desire for the healing is also from Him. We forget, we think, I want and I will do, and then astaghfirullah. And I'm here, we are all here to prepare for akhirah. So Allah gives us from time to time, when we get carried away, gives us a small slap like this, out of compassion.
Because if it keeps happening, then what will happen? You would build that arrogance, that
Hidden.
that was me, little bit
Yeah, it's a delusion, and it's hidden. It will. The one who is not ready will not go into sajda or remember God. He will get angry, or do it more, or get angry, or.
And the easier example is my best friend's, like, example, Sarah's mother, Farida. When she loses something, she first looks for it, and then when she realizes it's not the looking, what does she say? Then she reads Surah Al-Duha.
I read Surah Al-Kursi.
But first she reads Surah Al-Duha.
Ayat al-Kursi. I read Ayat al-Kursi.
But first she keeps looking, and I always forget. Like, I don't remember to read Surah Al-Duha or to, like, stop and ask for help unless I go into panic mode. Like, I start looking, then I panic, and when I panic, I remember Farida, and then I remember Surah Al-Duha, then I calm down. It's like, so even those moments, which happen a lot, like, you're traveling and your passport that was here is no more here, and you're traveling, like, the passport was
Moderate
here,
and
then you,
maybe
like,
summarize
you
and
need to build up
finish,
anxiety.
if no one else is.
Where's
وزمان سان moderated.
And the more you do this, the more the passport is in front every time, I can assure you, every time I panicked, and then I calm down and like remembered Subhanaka la ilaha illa anta kuntu mazalimin and read the duha, it is in the same place I looked for, but I wasn't seeing it.
Yeah.
It is
Now-
always in the same place. So my husband always said, where did you look? And he says, go look again. Like, because it became like a habit. I'm looking but not finding it. So
Yeah.
calm down and go look again. And that is La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu. Like, once you realize just, you're not going to find it on your own. Even in finding something as simple as my passport or something, I need to use this as an opportunity to come back and call on and be thankful to
I
the
have
one
a
who made
need,
me find it.
and you are the one who takes care of the need.
So this was Dr. Yamina's last slide. So then, I mean, I saw your hand. We can have some other comments.
I was going to ask, so I didn't realize it was Surah Duha. I also used to think it was Ayatul Kursi, so that's good to know because they'll help me without losing.
I think it's the connecting back to Allah, because I recite Ayatul Kursi. I personally learned it as a child, Ayatul Kursi.
I learned Ikhlas and Kawthar.
But it's all back remembering God.
Anything that makes basically, anything takes us back to this tasbih, this moment of saying you
It's
are
only
It's not me that will find it.
free
I
from
need you to
fault,
find it for
free
me.
from fault, free from shortcoming, free from injustice. That is what we're declaring when we make tasbih. Yes,
So, can I talk now?
yes, please.
Oh, all right, thank you, Mama. I have a question, and it's not, it's a simple question, but I have a little bit of confusion about it. When we go in sujood, we say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la 3 times, and then do the next thing, I think. Is it okay if we say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la 3 times, and we also say something else? Is that okay? All right, I was not sure. I had a habit of doing that. Like, I'll pick any favorite one-liner and I'll do that. And then I think, am I making something up or something that?
So coming back to the example, like in the situation of losing something, tasbih means I cannot find it on my own. You are the finder, you are finding it for me. When it was the sickness of my nephew and I needed the doctor, I cannot do this. Tasbih here means it is not me. I cannot find the doctor, I cannot bring healing.
I'm not the one controlling it.
I cannot. It's only you who can, only you can, not even the doctors. Like, that's why Yadullah fawqa aydihim in the Qur'an. وَمَا رَمَيْتَ إِذْ رَمَيْتَ. There's so many verses in the Qur'an that remind you that it's not you. It is not the doctor. It is not when you aim and it comes. It's not. So all of that is tasbih.
all
It
the
is
causes
not me.
were lined up,
Yeah.
but still things
Nothing
failed.
happens because it's not you. It's not me.
It's not from the core.
So tasbih becomes, it's not me, it's not the doctor in front of me, it's not this situation. And also when everything is bad, they have no control over me. So tasbih is like taking away my claim or the claim of whatever people want me to believe. Someone wants me to believe they are stronger. Someone wants me to believe they are whatever. So it's not me, it's not them.
And we apply this when things go my way.
And not go. Sometimes they don't go my way.
No, let's say everything goes my way. Again, Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah. Subhanallah, how everything went
Our way.
miraculously. I could not have done.
The universe did not do anything.
That's what
The
we
universe
say.
doesn't know.
What we say when we, before we drive, we say, Subhanalladhi sakhara lana hada, the one who made all this subservient to us at our service. وَمَا كُنَّا لَهُ مُقْرِنِينَ. We are not going to make any qareen with him, anything that, no, it happened because of this. No sharik, no. وَإِنَّا إِلَى رَبِّنَا لَمُنْقَلِبُونَ.
Is this a driving prayer now?
But it's not the driving prayer.
It's not driving.
It is the tasbih prayer, Sibel, that goes for
It's-
everything. If you are
it's-
eating,
It's a time to
behave
remember.
the same way.
But when you are on a mount, like a car, it's a time for remembrance. So for me, it's like Maghrib is the time for the prayer. But so for me, when I say this, when I say hada, this, not only the car, my body, my seeing, my driving, the earth, everything. So hada amplifies to include everything. Subhanaka. No one except the all-powerful could do this. Before the car moves, my getting into the car is a miracle. So it's time to remember, because we forget in between. So we have all these opportunities given to us to remember God. Dhikr.
We start with negative opportunities because we are in terrible need, but the goal is to make it our hal. So all the time, like I saw Sarah today, and then saw Isra and Masha Bayan, I was like, MashaAllah, look, all of these, like, people that you love that come into life, and all of the new people that we meet today, and then Sibel, and then you, my beautiful daughter, come in. I was like, wow, what a Jama, the one who brings all of these people. It makes my heart happy for seeing you all.
So for Tasbeeh
and
to
then
be...
at the end, Tumomi came in with her children. I was like, Ashhadu la ilaha illallah. I forgot that you said you might come. And when she came in, I was jumping out of joy. So subhanAllah, this is, then you say, Allah planned this, Allah planned it. He's bringing the people in.
So
And
we
then you
make
can see
Tasbeeh by means of
what's happening.
in the world, because the events and beings in the world are making Tasbeeh and teaching us. And as we observe them and witness them, that's our Tasbeeh, and we apply it in our life, and especially to our ego.
And one more, like subhanAllah, that we were saying coming in. I wanted to come to this event. We drive like 5 hours to be here, 4.5, 5 hours. It's a long drive. And then we're trying to convince Mariam. Mariam said she couldn't, but then we convinced it, and then Mariam could, and then all of us come. So in the car, we say, subhanAllah, we ended up, the three of us coming. We were going not to be able. We had a reservation somewhere, a different story. The reservation was being cancelled. And then how did all of this happen? So in the car we were saying, subhanAllah, ashhadu la ilaha illallah, us coming together and now meeting everyone and my beautiful daughter. This is a miracle for us. Like, we realize there is no way we could have met you all. Even coming here, we are
You could not have planned it yourself.
It's planned by him, definitely. Everyone
On that note,
that was here, subhanAllah.
on that note, we will
On that note.
we will conclude for today. Jazakumullah khair, Dr. Yemina, for walking us through all this different key aspects of Tasbeeh, glorifying God in the Quran, from refuting shirk to everything making Tasbeeh, and us being called to witness that and become that part of that Tasbeeh, and then connecting that Tasbeeh with beautiful names of God, and also with times of struggle and tension, like Surah Yusuf in prayer of Prophet Yunus and Yusuf too, and connecting Tasbeeh with hamd and with sajda, with gratitude, with patience. Inshallah, we continue in this journey in our daily lives, and yes, the Quranic Wisdom series, Living with the Quran series with Dr. Yemina is a monthly event. Inshallah, we hope to continue. It's the last Saturday of every month, and you would also see it in, if you sign up for the newsletter, you'll get also the updates on that as well. Jazakumullah khair, Dr. Yemina and Nurban, for the support, and everyone else. And we end with the
Prayer?
And with the prayer, Dr. Yemina.
Tasbeeh.
Subhanallah. سبحانك لا علم لنا
سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله نستغفره ونتوب إليه اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين آمين. Inshallah, let's make lots of istighfar. Times of calamities is time of istighfar, and the world and especially the Muslims are lots of people are in great calamity. So please, the least we can do is daily istighfar. We need it personally anyway. Just like tasbeeh, we are told to make it all the time. We are told to make istighfar. But in times of calamities, especially, we need more istighfar with the intention that Allah sends His help in this world and in the next to the oppressed, inshallah.